Hi everybody, Alex here from Expert Forex, and in today's video we're going to cover the Expert Forex Trade Panel. We're about to launch this trade panel. We want to make it the ultimate trade panel for MT4. This is a pre-launch video to make sure that we are meeting all our client and trader expectations with this particular trade panel. So at the end of this video, please give me any feedback that you might have about any processes that you normally do when trading MT4 that we haven't built into this trade panel. The launch will most probably take place in about a week's time after we have received all your feedback. Now, I must apologize, this slide is very busy, but it is busy on purpose because I want to show you a complete global overview of the information that gets supplied before you enter a trade when using this particular trade panel. So let's have a look at the actual information that you will see. So you'll see the risk percentage over here, but you'll also see the risk in dollars over here. You'll see the stop in pips, and you'll also see the risk down at the bottom in dollars. You'll see your profit in pips, and there's the profit in pips, and at the bottom here you see it in dollars. You will see the basis of your risk, which is over here, and you will also see the lot sizing that you will use during this particular trade. Now, this is a calculated amount based on your stop size and the risk percentage that you enter. You'll also see the return on risk, again a calculated amount, and then you'll see whether you are using a break even or trailing stop over there or over there, and whether this is going to be a break-even stop, a regular stop, a dynamic stop, or a candle trailing stop. You'll also see whether you are using a dynamic target over there and the size of that target and how often it is updated. You'll see whether the transaction is a market order or a pending order. When it's zero, it's a market order. You can just hit buy and sell. If it's a pending order, it will take the value that you enter in over there. You will see the free margin available. Now, that is a very big and important number, especially if you are living in the US or in Europe. So you want to know how much free margin you have available, and very critical, how much margin are you going to need for this particular trade? Very important information that you can never find on MT4. You'll get a transaction reference number. It will be over here, and that will allow you to update this transaction and follow its progress. You'll see the current spread over there, and the current spread is an important number. You can see how high the spread is at the moment. It's just before an announcement. Do you want to pay the broker 19 pips to just enter a trade, or do you want to wait until the trade returns to a normal spread? And then it will also show you all the comments that you can make. So very critical information that is supplied, and I must stress, before you trade. So you get all this information, you can then make a educated decision on whether to trade or not. And when you want to trade, you just hit buy or sell, or buy stop, sell stop, or buy limit and sell limit, depending on what your preference is. So the next element of this trade management panel is it allows you to now manage the trade once it is activated. In other words, it allows you to change your mind. So let's have a look at that. And this is what's been causing a little bit of a delay in our development process, because we keep on coming up with new things in this particular area. So let's talk about what happens during a transaction. So when you've entered a transaction, you will see the trade panel actually changes in presentation. You no longer have buy and sell and all that. It now allows you to change certain settings, and you can change the basis of your risk calculation, the stop loss you can change, the take profit you can change the method of trailing that you're using. If you've used none, you can add a trailing stop, you can add a dynamic target. So you can make a lot of changes, which is quite good. And then once you've made your changes, you just hit apply, and there it updates all that. It will also update all the statistics that are used there, and those changes might for instance affect your risk on return ratio and all kinds of, and also recalculate all the statistics down at the bottom. You cannot change obviously your risk, your lot size, but certainly certain elements might change. Now this ability makes it a complete set and forget trade management tool, because you're always seeing the information you need and you can always change it. So how does this transaction end? Essentially, the transaction will end once the price is closed by means of any of the instructions you've given the trade panel. So if it's your stop or your target, or the trailing stop or the dynamic target, that type of thing, that will close your deal automatically on a set and forget basis, and the trade panel will then revert back to a trade entry panel as we've seen on the previous slide. So a lot of dynamic things happens here. Now obviously you can also manually intervene with this trade. You can manually go and close it, and even your broker can go and close this deal if you have incurred a margin call or something like that. So this trade panel covers the whole transaction from before you enter it to after you've entered it. This is covered by this particular trade panel. So I'm quite excited about this trade panel. Please give me any feedback that you might have on any of the elements that we might not have covered in this trade panel that will make your life so much easier when trading MT4 on a manual basis. From me, Alex Deploy, cheerio.